everyone? Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, JD Vance is in a lot of news. He makes an announcement, allegedly, according to Benny Johnson. He mentions Hasan Piker, and we see Hasan Piker's reaction through the eyes of Mr. Asmongold, just because he has the best clip that I found. And we go back and forth between Veridark and Hypnotics releasing the news on Amazon nuking their gaming division and Twitch. We'll see what all that entails, when that will happen, if it's already happened. I don't know. As always, I had a show planned, and then I saw these stories, and I said, holy crap, how did I miss it? Autism. But let's go. Let's get started.
So apparently JD Vance is talking about Hasan.
He has this.
I know everyone's tired of Collargate, quote unquote Collargate, but I mean, it's funny. It's funny. I can't help that. But yes, now even the vice president is commenting on it.
Place, which is basically,
Oh no!
I snap my finger and point. He will run to that place and lay down.
This is real, right? I mean, like, it's not AI or anything. Oh, I'm not. Okay, so there's another one here. It seems like this is actually real.
To zap him.
No.
Hasan.
Not like Hasan Piker. No.
Wasn't that disgusting?
No electrocution of dogs here. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. It's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started.
He just goes all the way. Oh no, he did not like this, bro. He did not look at bro. He did not like it.
He will run to that place
Oh,
and lay
Hasan.
down.
You don't have to zap.
You don't have to zap him. Did she just say that?
You don't have to zap him.
No.
Hasan.
Not like Hasan Piker. No.
Wasn't that disgusting?
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting.
I will say, at least he didn't bring it up. This person who looks like the French Prime Minister's wife-ish brought it up. So at least we can give him that much.
What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering.
He's so mad. Oh God.
To an innocent
Poor-
animal.
I actually sometimes I feel bad for Hasan. Like he was brought up in this. I'm sure his parents are retards, while it be billionaire
spot
retards.
training for his own dog, so he knows that it is not an abusive practice, and yet
It's not what he said.
Not spot
That's
training.
Nothing to do with what he said. How do you have a degree in political science and communications and you don't even understand what he
Piker went to
said?
college?
It had nothing to do with place training. It had everything to do with how the training was administered.
he is
Yes.
still leaning into this fucking idea that I'm like abusing my dog, which is crazy because, hello, Kristi Noem, the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security,
Again, there's place training, and then there's making your dog sit there for 4 hours a day. 4 hours at a time, at least once, sometimes twice a day. And just expecting them to be background decor. You like the Trump-a-lantern here, which, by the way, that is hilarious, Hasan. But this is sad right here. It's also kind of hilarious that you had, people come in and do this for you. You have no love put into it. This is probably the most input you had, and this is probably the works of Valkyrie, your alleged girlfriend, and what was it, QT Cinderella, the girl that you're probably. I'm not gonna lie. You're probably. I don't like to use the word cuck, but that's probably what Jellywig is to you. So
shot her puppy.
sorry, Ludwig.
What is happening? The vice president of the United States is talking about Reddit, Twitter drama.
Because it's funny.
Yeah.
I hate the left. I hate.
Funny is funny, and he's involved in a lot of it. Like, have you not seen all the JD Just Dance Vance memes? Those are hilarious too. I ain't gonna lie. He's even put some out himself. There's, it culminated in little midget fat face Vance from South Park. It's hilarious, and he took it in stride, the same way that Charlie Kirk did a couple weeks before he died. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Don't hate to play, I hate the game bars. But
liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single day of the goddamn week. I hate my life. I hate streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single person who thinks that the peak of activism is being the most annoying, holier thou.
That was a nice cavalcade of everything that whole nice little rant that he had a couple weeks ago, halfway into Collargate, as it's called. But we'll start off with Miss Vera Dark here, and if I don't feel like I got enough information, then we'll jump over to Hypnotics video. And if we have time, we'll get some more JD Just Dance Vance news and see what Trump asked him.
Industry has been going through major layoffs, and it doesn't look like that is going to stop anytime soon. But it seems that out of the 14,000 layoffs that Amazon just went through, their video game division and also Twitch have been significantly impacted. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams,
Nobody likes to show
and
off,
consider
Miss
supporting
Vera.
through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, they haven't come out with very good games in my opinion. I played a bit of New World. I enjoyed it enough, but I still thought that it was really underwhelming. Of course, when it comes to Twitch, they have been in disaster mode. They've been faced with catastrophe after catastrophe, and I wish the CEO would be part of those layoffs. But now it looks like Amazon is just facing significant problems. Sure, part of this is people being replaced by AI, but the other part is just them having to downsize, and we have seen a lot of companies going through this. They overhired during the pandemic, now they have to correct their mistakes, and I can't say that I feel all that bad for people at places like Twitch, right? Twitch is a cesspool, and I do not support the platform, and so I'm not going to shed a tear for the people that were laid off, and especially the leadership with people like Dan Clancy going out and partying when their streamers are being assaulted, not really addressing all of the elephants in the room, not making statements on assaults that are happening to males. I mean, we are talking a pile of problems. So let's start off with games. It says Amazon is laying off more than 14,000 corporate jobs, and per a report from Bloomberg, the video games division, Amazon Game Studios, is not immune to the cuts. While Amazon doesn't specify exactly how many people from its video games division will be laid off, a statement from Steve Boom, Amazon's head of audio, Twitch, and games, does call the cut significant and says that the cuts are happening despite Amazon being, quote, proud of the success it had. And it seems that basically the New World team has been gutted. They have announced a shutdown of the game in 2026. They have, from what we have seen, basically been completely shut down internally. Like nobody's working there really anymore.
I was curious about New World. I know it was going to be full of all the slop that we've been getting lately, but still, curiosity. I love the time period, more or less. For those of you who have been here more than a week, especially if you watch what I stream in the evenings and on the weekends in the morning, I much prefer feudal Japan. But let's continue.
Except for the people that are like winding down the title, and it says that they are halting the game development work specifically around MMOs. But it's not just New World, it's also the Lord of the Rings MMO. Now, while we don't have a lot of information on this Lord of the Rings MMO, I always assumed it was going to be Rings of Power themed, because if they couldn't even adapt Tolkien's work on the big screen, why would they be able to do it in a video game? Yeah. And so I figured it was just going to be a butchered version of his characters and story and world. And so I didn't have like a lot Rings of Power. But at the same time, I'm a big MMO fan. I do love real Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's LOTR, so I would have kept my eye on it. Maybe I would have played it at release to highlight it, though that's not going to happen anymore because it seems that this team is also completely gone. This individual, who was the senior gameplay engineer, said this morning, I was part of the layoffs at Amazon Games alongside my incredibly talented peers on New World and our fledgling Lord of the Rings game. Y'all would have loved it. It's always tough to see such a strong team go through something like this. I've been lucky to work with some of the most skilled, creative, and kind developers I've ever met here. I'm planning on taking some well-deserved time off to recharge and reflect after 10 years of working with this team, but I'm also open into new opportunities once I'm ready. If you're
10
looking for someone
years.
with deep experience in gameplay
10
systems,
years.
world tech, and mentoring teams, I'd love to
have
connect
they
to everyone
done?
at Amazon Games. It's been an honor to build alongside you. And I hate to say this, but I don't feel that bad. And I don't like to revel in the fact that people are losing their jobs. But at the same time, we are talking about Amazon Game Studios, who has had a ton of problems. They aren't seemingly hiring people who are maybe the best pick for the job. They definitely have some DEI initiatives in place. And I don't want to say that everybody on these teams were simply diversity hires. I'm sure that there were some talented individuals, but just because there are a few good apples in the bunch doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and cry for the rest of the rotten bunch. I feel a little bit bad, I suppose, on like a human level, but at the same time, if they're good at their jobs, they will find another job in the industry at some point. And according to a report from The Verge, they've added that the driving force behind these cuts comes from Amazon pushing further into AI, which isn't particularly shocking. I do think that the AI bubble is going to burst. I do not think that AI is going to be as successful as they expect. Sure, I have always thought that AI
eventually
would be an
it will
okay
be.
tool, but I
Eventually it will be, and it'll eventually probably more than likely take us over, especially considering some of the things that we saw from Chat GPT about a year ago. But yeah, I think I got a feeling for now it's going to be like 3D TV. It's going to be interesting. A few people are going to pick it up, but for the most part, it's going to fizzle out. With a couple exceptions. I think Grok will do okay. There's another one, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Not Chat GPT. That one's fallen through. I've heard things about Perplexity, but we'll see.
I think that while they're significantly cutting things like people in the video game division, I do think that eventually they're going to have to hire them back if, right, their numbers were not extremely bloated. Now, for some companies, I bet that they're not going to rehire because they hired thousands upon thousands of extra people for certain teams and certain projects, but I don't think that we are ever going to see AI completely take over to the point where humans aren't making video games and entertainment and art anymore, because AI can only copy, it cannot create. And I think that a lot of these companies, right, are going to have to maybe, yeah, sure, refocus their teams, but I don't think that we're ever going to see AI completely take over the video game industry. That's for sure. But to add to the video game layoffs, Twitch employees are reportedly affected by these layoffs. It says, I was laid off at Twitch today. I was at Twitch for 11 years. I started off working in the trust and safety teams, then moved to customer experience. I was the person who built the entire fraud program at Twitch. One of the reasons I never told people what I did for work, I was the one keeping the bad actors off Twitch who steal and abuse revenue on the platform. I guess I did my job well since they let me go, but I do have some great stories of being there for over a decade. I feel like that's supposed to be a threat, like, ooh, I've got stories and I'm not afraid to release them, so maybe they'll get more money in their package. Maybe they will be rehired. Maybe they will get, glowing recommendations for their future job hunt. Either way, though, it kind of sounds like they are potentially releasing a little bit of a threat there. I feel like this is a major red flag, though. I did my job too well. I don't know if I fully believe
that's one way
that
to
could be the case for sure. Savvy also says that she actually thinks that this is a red flag too. That's the issue. They never stop punishing people who did their job well. So many people shuffled around over the years. The drama about the creative section, partner managers punished. He worked in trust and safety. No one trusts Twitch, and safety is kind of a massive issue. So yeah, him losing his job didn't just come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have been a surprise, which I definitely agree with. Like, who trusts Twitch and how safe is the platform? Not at all whatsoever. We also had found out that apparently they eliminated around 500 roles. In addition, Amazon's Twitch division is reportedly eliminating around 500 roles, continuing a trend of downsizing that began in 2023 after the platform's restructuring under new leadership cough, cough, Dan Clancy. Sources also indicate layoffs in Amazon's device and Alexa unit, where nearly 2,000 employees have been affected as demand for smart home devices slows globally. Yeah, because people have realized, wow, all of this technology is listening to me and it's just giving me ads and it's extremely expensive. I really want to know how Luna is doing. I see a lot of advertisements for it on X and also when I'm watching Twitch, even though I don't really watch Twitch that much, like every single time I do, there is an ad for Luna, but I haven't heard anybody actually boasting about how they use it, anybody talking about how they love it. It just seems like another Google Stadia to me that is going to die. Now, this one did
more than
survive
likely, and that's another good point. The Google Stadia was a horrible idea. I mean, Google's had a lot of bad ideas after the one good one. They're mostly their search engine. Their AI's meh.
But I just feel like maybe if they had released it in 5 years, people would have viewed it differently. But right now, that's definitely not the case. So they are going through some massive problems right now. People on New World are getting laid off. People on the Lord of the Rings MMO are getting laid off. As far as we are aware, nothing's going on with like Crystal Dynamics. The Tomb Raider project is still well underway, which I wish that they actually would have gone through layoffs because I don't want another modern day Tomb Raider remake or reboot, whatever direction they're actually going in. But we're also hearing that Twitch, the platform that of course hosts terrorist sympathizers and also hosts animal abusers and also hosts gamblers, also hosts
most of those are one person.
Terrible platform
and then
overall
that girl
is going through layoffs, and I just wish that Dan Clancy would have been part of this wave of layoffs.
That would have been very
But that's
nice.
all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the
All right, let's take a look at some Xtinction level tweets. This for one, Emma Watson reveals that she is self-partnered and explains what it really means. If this was a guy, people would just call it chronic masturbation. I'm sorry. No one cares that you're married to yourself. Most people assume this of the snooty bitches, I guess would be a good word. But let's continue. This out of context. Look, okay, so all right, that's to this one. But this is comparing ridiculous people to Hitler. I don't know who this guy is, but J.K. Rowling, literally all J.K. Rowling did was fight for women's rights against the trans movement. She wasn't mean to trans people. She just said the truth. Understandably, why people don't like him. Understandably, why people don't like him. This is just mean. Charlie Kirk is nowhere near Hitler. Trump's nowhere near Hitler either. I understand why people hate Tate. JD Vance, I mean, come on. This guy was calling Trump Hitler a few years ago, and now you hate him just because he's not on your side anymore, and then I understand when people hate this person. But J.K. Rowling especially, I have no idea who this is, but J.K. Rowling especially, just come the fuck on. And then I love this. I had to save it. If everyone is me, then who am I? It's a picture of Hitler for those of you just listening. And then, oh, wait. And then this is what I was thinking it was. So people are just focusing on that. That's very clearly police and military style hand signals. But people are saying that this is ICE agents doing Nazi salutes. You're retarded. Your parents abused Tylenol. Your parents are probably cousins. I'm sorry. But yeah, you are not a serious person. The Krasensteins are posting this. Kirsha posting another JD Vance meme for the video that we watched earlier. Oh, this is just something I found interesting. Like, very clearly, you would choose G, right, for Southern food and all the best Hispanic food. Clearly, but yeah, hand signals. These are very clearly what that person was doing. Like, absolutely clear. More Endymion, Angry Joe stuff. Him hitting back with their little spat between Joe and Endymion that we covered yesterday. Emma Watson said something stupid. Emma Watson, 35, says, the pressure to get married is a violence against young people. No, violence is violence. pressure to get married is pressure to get married. You can either do it and get a little bit of scorn by people who think you should have, like mother and grandmother, or you can not. Or wait, you can either not do it and get all that, or you can do it and then maybe have some regrets on things you may have missed out on, like, oh, I could have gone to Europe. Let's face it, you've done all the things that most white women do and think they missed out on. The only difference is tons of dick. But anyway, but yeah, here's a better image. Like I said, just hand signals. Very clearly, come this way. I do not understand. Oh, and then a bunch of Antifa mugshots. But someone named Adam Mockler, and Adam Mockler is just a shit poster grifter on X, said right-wingers will see something like this and take personal offense. And it's someone's etched "kill Nazis" on a post. But this was not something written as graffiti in a vacuum. You have literally called everyone who disagrees with you, anyone to the right of, I don't want to say something as divisive as to the right of Mao, a Nazi. You've called Joe Rogan a Nazi. He's literally a liberal. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter. He still likes Bernie Sanders for some reason. He liked RFK Jr. just like the rest of the left until he joined Trump. And the only difference was Joe went with RFK Jr. to Trump's side. And you've literally labeled all these people Nazis. That's why Charlie Kirk is dead. And Nux makes it perfect. All conservatives are Nazis. All Nazis must be killed. Why does wanting Nazis dead offend conservatives? Sounds like a self-report. You people, what you all really need is food poisoning. I'm sorry. That's just true. And then, oh yeah, the Endymion thing. This person is disgusting. I don't even believe it's a woman. She's got a very deep voice. And she assaulted a couple of people. Got a 44-hour quote-unquote ban. Whereas I believe that's talking about Tectone got banned for 2 weeks for calling someone fat. This person literally assaulted a guy with another girl. He didn't want to. And a lot of people are like, what, are you gay? Nah, he just didn't want it. Like, come with that same energy the other way. But anyway. Continuing. I don't even want to. You know what? Let's just watch it. This is a disgusting person. She has a podcast. Jennifer Welch, I guess, is her name. And this is her threatening Democrats.
Finally, if you think this Zoran thing is happening just in New York, and you think people are waking up only in New York City, you're mistaken. Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
Whatever his name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because she's a horrible person.
The campuses, the college campus.
And she only watches shows like this awful person, Jennifer Welch. Jennifer Welch, I've not seen much of her, but everything I've seen is her saying some of the most horrendous shit that you can ever think of. If someone on the right said this about anyone on the left, there would be more riots in the streets. Like, the left will riot over anything. And some of it's justified right now, but they're rioting against the wrong person. Anyway, so tomorrow, when all that stuff happens, if you work at a grocery store like a couple of my friends do, be very careful. People are going to be going crazy. Don't intervene. Stand to the side. Get the hell out of the way. But the left will riot for just about anything, and this person's right. Charlie Kirk was a bad person. He said a few things that I disagreed with, sure, but a bad person. Hitler, shut up.
What's this? Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would
so
you be
sorry.
glad if I would die?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of
You
yourself.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
I think we need to.
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit, or we're coming after you.
Jump on board with killing the opposition and being okay with it and thinking it's funny even.
In the same way that we come after MAGA. Period.
With guns.
Stop taking APAC money. Go on and I'm sorry I took
I do agree. Everyone should stop taking APAC money, not because they're the Jews, but just because we shouldn't take foreign money.
APAC money atonement tour. If you
For political gains, not, you know, if it's some kind of trade deal, whatever. But foreign money to control politics, not so much.
want to stay in power, stop missing out on these big rallies. Hakeem and Chuck should have been front and center introducing the next mayor of New York City, but no, they wouldn't show up because they're pussies. They're pussies that are beholden to the same
I agree. They are
corporations
pussies, but not for the same reason that she's saying.
that helped Donald Trump get elected. And this is just an embarrassment. Kudos to Bernie, to AOC, to Zoran. And that woman out in somewhere middle America saying, fuck Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, he was a piece of shit. There are so many more of us than there are of them. And
There's really not. Like, there's really not. The loudest wheel gets the grease, as it says. The squeakiest wheel gets the grease. There's not more of you. Just because you have a big audience, I'm sure a lot of them are hate watching. I mean, even Velma got a season 2. But the fact that this hideous, hateful woman, I mean, look at this. She looks like Pam Bondi got hit with a paint can and just went nuts like Harvey Dent.
these Democrats that continue to play patty cake with corporations and
all of them,
lobbyists.
All of them.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants you. We want politicians to speak freely and look at what the benefit is. Look at what is happening in New York. And you dipshits are sitting on the sideline.
New York is not a result of that. New York is a part of that.
Running your social media like complete dorks. It's embarrassing. Get your shit together. Hakeem and Chuck, seriously get your shit together, because the Democratic Party is moving on. We are moving on.
That's finally. Right. Take it from this angry, rich white bitch, the white lady. And, you know, as the Democratic Party does, it's literally at the whims of upper middle and upper class, overprivileged white women. And they're wearing their empathy like a shawl. They don't do it because they care. They do it because it's like the little sash that Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts wear with all their little merit badges. Some of them do it because they just love doing all those things, and then they just happen to get merit badges for it. But most of them, let's face it, it's a competition to see who can get the most and who has the most clout. It's all clout chasing, which turns into psychosis from Instagram types. But yeah, anyway, so moving on back to this her.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we're going to be covering, well, one of the most massive welcome home parties that I think we have seen in quite a while. And that's saying a lot, considering that this year has seen well over 30,000 layoffs in the gaming industry easily. Probably a little less than that, but now it's definitely more than ever. Amazon has announced that they are laying off about a total of anywhere, I think the numbers are anywhere between 15,000 to 30,000 people. It is a massive amount of people that are losing their job, some of which is coming from Amazon Games and even Twitch. Yes, Twitch is being hit by layoffs as well. And it's such an interesting time for this to happen, considering all the drama that is happening with Twitch right now. We saw what happened with Emeru over at TwitchCon. We saw what happened with the assault that happened on video against the streamer Syed. We saw all of this go down, and ironically, Twitch is all of a sudden experiencing layoffs. I just find this to be very interesting timing. They're going to say it's coincidental. I'm going to say it's not, but obviously it's kind of all up to you. Now, with that being said, let's kind of go into this article from Insider Gaming and let's see exactly what's going down. This is a massive amount of people, guys. Amazon is laying off more than 14,000 corporate employees. Within those layoffs, Amazon Games and Twitch will be hit in some capacity. Bloomberg says, without going into specifics, that both video games and the cloud computing area of the company will be affected. Insider Gaming has reached out to Amazon to ask how many people were set to be let go from the gaming division and Twitch. As of publishing, a response has not been received. Now, with all this being said, you know it's definitely affecting the gaming part of them, because New World, their game that came out a few years ago that I played when it first came out, and I actually liked New World. I have no problems with New World. There was an update that we're going to go over in a separate video, but I'll give you a little bit of a tidbit. They announced that they are going to be shutting the game down. They're going to stop development altogether on New World. And it's kind of sad considering how many times they've tried to update this game and how many times they tried to rebrand this game, but it never worked out, unfortunately, for them. But we'll cover this in another video. Let's focus more on the layoffs and see exactly what's going on. According to Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, the cuts would largely fall on its offices in Irvine and San Diego, as well as its central publishing division. Wow. San Diego, huh? That's interesting. Interesting area for them to suffer layoffs. The company will reduce the amount of work it does on big budget titles, particularly surrounding massively multiplayer online games or MMORPGs. Now, the reason why they're specifically calling out MMORPGs is because not even just a few years ago, before New World was even announced, they had said that they were going to be focusing on MMORPGs. They were going to be investing money in massively multiplayer online video games. That was Amazon's goal with their games division. And we ended up getting New World, and people were hyped for it, and I was playing it like crazy. There was a lot of people playing the game. But unfortunately, the game just completely fell off and died, and it never recovered. And now it looks like they're pulling out of their initial promise. It says, while we're proud of our success in first-party AAA game development and publishing, we have made the difficult decision to halt significant amount of our first-party AAA game development work, specifically around MMOs, within Amazon Game Studios, including making significant role reductions in our studios in Irvine and San Diego, as well as our central publishing team. An email sent by Vice President of Audio, Twitch, and Game, Steve Boom, to employees said. Including the layoffs was Tarfu, who had been with Twitch for 11 years. Now, this is somebody I was going to cover his specific tweet. This is who they're talking about. Okay, the guy's name is Tarfu. I have no idea who this is. Apparently, he worked at Trust and Safety over at Twitch for 11 years. Let's take a look at what he has to say, because he was just fired today as part of the layoff. So you know this is happening. This is not fake. This is not like, being exaggerated. There are firings happening right now at Twitch and at Amazon Video Games, and it's massive. It's a lot of people. He says, I was laid off at Twitch today. I was at Twitch for 11 years. I started off working in Trust and Safety and then moved to customer experience. I was the person who built the entire fraud program at Twitch. One of the reasons I never told people what I did for work. I was the one keeping bad actors off Twitch who steal and abuse ad revenue on the platform. I guess I did my job too well since they let me go. Bro, come on.
Come on,
bro. Really? I did my job too well, so they let me go. Okay. But I do have some great stories of being there over a decade. Horrible timing, since my motorcycle accident was a month ago, and I am getting married in less than a month. This has definitely been a bad year. Now, again, guys, at the end of the day, like, if you're getting fired, it's never going to come at a time that's opportune. It almost never happens that way. These things happen always at the worst time. I understand.
Sorry,
I understand. We can't just
bit.
shame them and show the evidence. Data doesn't lie. But just like anything, there is a false positive, which we made good.
Yeah.
You built the fraud program. You're telling me you're the reason for the wave of false fraudulent activity bans that took place from 2024 to present? I was desperately looking for you. You fucking suck at your job then, you fat fuck. Shame you didn't break your back, fucking loser. Oh my God.
I mean, that's a bit harsh.
Oh my
bit
God.
harsh,
Relax.
but I don't know what all this person's
Relax.
done.
Holy shit. Tarfu says, maybe don't fraud. Our false positive rate was under industry standards, right? Armando
Well, then
says,
the industry
welcome
standard sucks.
home. I can't, man. Sometimes reading these cultures are just insane. I'm so sorry to hear this. You brought only positive things to Twitch, and I wish you the best for you in the future. You guys notice the difference between comments made by women and
This is probably a
men?
hot tub streamer.
I just want to reiterate. Comment made by woman. I'm so sorry to hear this. Heart emojis. You brought only positive things. You're so amazing. Thank you so much for everything. Comment made by a man. You fucking suck at your job, yeah, you fat fuck.
What bias?
I'm sorry. I just the duality there is amazing. Anyway, this person says, incredibly sorry to hear, man. Best to you. Thanks for all your time there. Not enough people realize the hard work that goes into trust and safety. Very sorry. Now go back to the team and check whether we have space for additional TNS hires. DM me, winky face, or actually not winky face, smiley face. So, this person says, sometimes with situations like this, it's a blessing in disguise. just means you're destined for something greater. I do agree with that. I do agree that sometimes when you're fired, it is a blessing in disguise, and you could find something that's even greater. So never be down on yourself. Always like look forward to the next thing and try to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, man. That's basically it. I know it's easier said than done, but you got to wipe that shit off and just keep going.
Wipe it off.
Now that we know this guy and his experience, I'm sure we're going to be finding out even more people that got fired that haven't made statements yet. So let's keep going and scroll down. News of the mass layoffs was first reported by Reuters. The cuts would be, according to the outlet,
was
the
that
largest
Reuters?
cuts since 2022.
Yeah, Reuters, but Reuters.
27,000 people. This new set of layoffs would be the largest in company history, with impacted employees to be notified via email. Jesus, it's going to be more than 27,000 people. That's what I'm saying. Like, the numbers are all over.
No, I'm not mad at them. It's just people don't know how to pronounce things. It's fine. But it's Reuters, like the name Roy and then Tur.
Place, right? You have a post here from Pirate Nation. It says, today, several large technology or technology-adjacent companies have conducted mass layoffs. Amazon, 30,000 plus. Intel, 24,000 plus. Accenture, 11,000 plus. Microsoft, 7,000 plus. And keep in mind, guys, Microsoft has fired, with the 7,000 now, probably well over 20,000 plus people this year.
Really?
Microsoft has fired a lot of people. Okay.
That's awful.
PwC, 5,600 plus. Salesforce, 4,000. And Meta, 600.
I mean, it does say
also
plus.
Fired a ton of people too. Now, the interesting thing is that this person, they said that they're going to be notified via email. That's like a massive fuck you. You know, just be notified via email. Hey guys, you don't have to bother coming to work anymore. You can stay home. It's actually amazing. I wonder if they're going to get any kind of severance or anything like that. I gotta imagine.
I imagine the executives will, but the regular workers, anyone who's hourly, even some of the lower salary workers, like managers and below, not so much. Well, no, the managers will, but the regular workers won't. That's usually pretty standard. And then they'll probably get something that says they can't go work for any of the competition, which is fine because, as you can see, most of the competition is doing the same shit.
And they probably won't. Now, keep in mind, guys, here's the culmination of this entire story. The culmination of this story is this. This generation of AI is enabling companies to innovate much faster than ever before, says Amazon, as it confirms that 14,000 corporate roles will be laid off. Guys, some reports suggest that the true figure would be as high as 30,000. Guys, what I want to tell you is that as much as we would love to blame, the psychopaths in the gaming industry,
that's who I love to blame,
whatever you want to say, right? Whatever word you want to use. It is not that, okay? It is part of that, but it is not wholly that.
Yeah.
What it is that
those are some of the reason for the cutbacks, just because of all the money that's been lost pushing those things, mostly by the people who actually have product, not just things like Meta, whose profits are mostly driven by ad revenue and such.
Industries, both technology and gaming all together,
stocks
are going all in on AI. Okay, they're going all in on this. Yeah. Now that they feel like the technology is there, they are getting rid of a massive amount of people. All the people who otherwise are useless are getting rid of them because AI is taking over for their job. This is what they've been wanting for God knows how long now. Right? They want AI to take over for the average employee and only have the highest.
You went to college and your job's being taken over by AI. What? You went to trade school and you're doing okay.
Of the high employees left to manage the AI systems, to fix the work, make sure the work is good or whatever. This is what's happening. This is truly what's behind the layoffs. I don't think it's anything else personally. I think it's I think it's AI taking their jobs. That's what I think it is. Personally, but we can read this to see exactly what this Amazon person said. So earlier today, Amazon sent an email to all its employees to explain why it needed to make organizational changes that will result in 14,000 corporate roles being laid off. The message carried the usual phrases one sees in mishaps from senior management: more leanly, fewer layers, more ownership, move as quickly as possible. The reason why all of that is now required was also laid bare, and it's AI. The message in question came from Beth Galletti, Amazon Senior Vice President of People who Experience and Technology. In it, she confirmed that the retail and server giant is reducing its workforce. While this will be including reducing in some areas and hiring in others, It will mean an overall reduction in our corporate workforce of approximately 14,000 roles. Giletti says that the Amazon's recruiting teams will prioritize internal candidates to help as many people as possible find new roles within Amazon. The obvious questions are to just ask what kind of roles have been laid off and what positions are such people expected to take on. Although the answers to these questions aren't explicitly answered in Giletti's message, there is one statement that, to all intents and purposes, does. Some may ask why we're reducing roles when the company is performing well. Across our business, we're delivering great customer experience every day, innovating at a rapid rate, and producing strong business results. What we need to remember is that this world is changing quickly. This generation of AI is the most transformative technology we've seen on the since the internet, and it's enabling companies to innovate much faster.
I heard transformative, and I was like, what?
In existing market segments and altogether new ones. We're convinced that we need to be organized more leanly with fewer layers and more ownership.
Okay, so that's that.
Thing that would probably automation comes in some way, shape, or form. And while this is not
okay, so a little bit more info on some of those things, but
and it's going to
not really a whole lot, a lot more in depth, but on the boring sense. Love you, buddy. We'll give you a like just because you got a lot of information. But moving on to see what Benny Johnson's got to say about this Just Dance Vance stuff. Oh my God. Oh, what the fuck, man.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What is happening?
JD Vance swore in Marco Rubio, and the two of them clearly have a really good relationship. They both hit the trail working for President Trump and are working in his administration. I would argue that the two of them are absolutely the MVP and most improved player, probably, of the Trump administration. Nonetheless, there's a lot of rumors going around as to what's going to happen in the future. And JD Vance just did a podcast, and Donald Trump just said something this week that sort of shows their hand. I'm not sure if this is going to come as breaking news, but obviously it's impolite to talk about, hey, I'm going to run for president, hey, I'm going to run for this office, and to sit there and look sort of like a political animal and project what you want to do with your life. It's a lot more traditional and a lot more polite to just say, you know what, I got a job right now, I got a job at hand, nothing's been announced, we're just going to like move on and let the cards and the chips fall where they may. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For the first time ever, JD Vance has straight up said that Donald Trump is asking me to run for president. And you'll see it, he almost like catches himself here. But he just straight up says, like, listen, Trump and I had a lunch, and Trump straight up said, not only should I run for president, but he suggested who should run with me. Here we go.
How do you feel about that? And have you talked to the Secretary Rubio about it?
I've joked with the secretary about it. So the president first raised this with me probably 6 months or so ago,
right?
During just one of our private lunches that we try to get lunch every couple of weeks just to catch up on what's going on and talk about things. He mentioned it probably 6 months or so ago, and I mentioned to the secretary in jest, but it feels so premature because we're still so early. And what I always say to people is, if we take care of business, the politics will take care of itself. And we're 9 months into this thing. We've done a lot of good. There's a lot more work to do because, I mean, look, the thing that I most worry about is that Biden left us a terrible affordability crisis.
Yes.
We've got to make life more affordable for American citizens. Again, we've chipped away at that problem, but there's a lot more work to do there. So my attitude is, the American people elected me to be vice president. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make the president successful over the next 3 years and 3 months. And if we get to a point where something else is in the offer, let's handle it then. But let's at least get through the next couple of years and do good work for the American people before we talk about politics.
The president doesn't mention who will be running for president and who vice president. Now, everyone assumes it would be you, but Marco Rubio is 13 years older. He's run for president before. Would there be any tension there?
First of all, no, there's not going to be any tension. Marco is my best friend in the administration. He and I work a lot together.
Right.
And we really do, I think, a lot of the good work that we've been able to do as an administration is because we're all able to work together. And again, this is why I say worrying too much about the politics actually, I think, makes you worse at the job that you have. I never want to wake up.
That
And
is
so far,
something
I've never woken up and thought to myself
that I would never
how
think
do
I would
make
hear from a
myself president of the
politician.
United States. What I wake up and think to myself is, how do I do a good job as vice president? And I think Marco Rubio asks himself, how do I do a good job as Secretary of State? And that should be the question that each of us keeps on asking ourselves.
Then, you can hear that JD Vance sort of tells Miranda Devine this. Miranda Devine has a great new podcast, Podforce One, smart name, and jealous of the name. But you can see JD Vance is like, wait a second, I better pull this back into sort of a political answer here, and that's what he does. Trump, not so much. Trump on the jet heading to
Can someone
Asia
who's
this week
been
said,
president for 2
I want it to
terms
be JD Vance
be
and I want it to
on
be
a
Marco
ticket
Rubio.
as a
They're going to
vice
be
president?
unstoppable. Here we go.
Sir, Steve Bannon said in a recent interview that there could be plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a third term in 2028. Is that something you'd be willing to challenge the court to be?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know, but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
I mean, and you got to think if JD Vance did run and either had Rubio as his vice president or as his what he's doing right now, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's Secretary of State or Foreign Affairs or some such. But he's great with foreign affairs. If he had Rubio as that or his vice president, and then if Rubio ran and put JD Vance back in his cabinet or even as vice president, that would be cool. I'm not too keen on Republicans, but JD Vance has done some really good things, and he's very good at interviews. And I would assume that he would take the good things that the boss here would do and move forward with those, and hopefully take off some of the things that are more controversial. Same thing with this guy. This guy's been great with foreign affairs. I think he would be a good president. And I'm not a big fan of Republicans by any means. I know I just said that, but I like this guy, and Vance is pretty good too, in my book.
I mean, I just solved 8 wars, and a 9th is coming. I believe Russia, Ukraine will happen.
You said that for 2028, they're very good people.
Well, we have great people. Well, I don't have to get into that, but we have one of them standing right here. We have JD, obviously. The vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? I mean, you'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ.
Yeah, she really is.
An IQ test. Have her pass the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard. They're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way.
Stop talking about how smart you are. Only dumb people talk about how smart you are.
Let Jasmine go against Trump.
But
I don't think
Trump's very successful.
The first couple of questions are easy. A tiger, an elephant, a giraffe, When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10 and 20 and 25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
This is certainly not the only time that JD's been asked about this, and it's certainly not the only time that President Trump has spoken about it. Trump has often floated this. He's also floated himself running for a 3rd term, so I guess it, kind of goes where the question, where he wants to go with these questions. But I would say, as a bit of a reminder, and I actually was quite interested in watching this, that this campaign trail, if indeed this does materialize into a ticket, is going to be a total and complete barn burner. Obviously, President Trump sucks up all the oxygen when he's on the campaign trail, but it's JD Vance and Marco Rubio who went in sort of over the top multiple times to make big announcements and to rally up the crowd. What I'm saying here is that they can do it. People are like, JD Vance has only run for Senate one time, is he really that good on the stump? Marco Rubio, he ran for president. He didn't win, not even close, right?
No.
In 2016.
I think he was 3rd in line, maybe.
Didn't win, they got blown out. But that doesn't mean they don't have chops, okay? So here we go. Here's we put together a little sizzle of the two of them and sort of blend it together, show you what might be coming down the pipeline. Here we go.
Here's, George, why
fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility, because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely.
He hung up on the vice president.
Gang members, including the one
Simply
you had
stunning.
margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear. In the days to come, you're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator,
I'm sorry,
please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary
No.
Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated
Senator,
comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court in the
Senator,
United States because
Well,
he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge and the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy.
Been, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, my experience at least, have been.
When I joined the administration early on, they said, one of the initiatives that we're pursuing is to increase efficiency in government. In essence, they want to be able to do more while, spending less or putting less. And for example, they said one of the things we want you to look at is consolidation. Can you take, for example, what today are 4 jobs and just give them all to one person? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. We just do that all across the government. I know they just meant me, but it is an honor to be here tonight on behalf of the National Archives. To speak to all of you. And so it's great to stand here. As I said, it's always flattering to receive an award and be recognized. You were Speaker, you were a member of the Senate, you were the chairman of this.
And see, that's the thing.
Secretary.
They do ask a lot of Rubio, but Rubio has done pretty well, especially with foreign policy, as I keep saying over and over and over again. The man's killing it. And whether you like Trump or whether you like Vance, Marco Rubio has done a great job at foreign policy. Just look at all the wars that have been stopped. The Middle East deal, sure. Israel and Palestine are being dragged along this, kicking and screaming. But it's happening, more or less. But it's happening. And we have a better chance of peace in the Middle East right now than we've ever had in history.
Secretary of State,
or at least
and
in
the
my
National
lifetime.
Security Advisor,
Which isn't that long,
and the
but
acting
you know what I mean.
archivist, and the acting USAID director. So it's always great to, and the Surgeon General. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that. Nah. I wanted it. You get a uniform. Do you know you get a uniform if you're a Surgeon General? I wanted it, but they had given it away. It would be good.
That's Rubio.
Congress.
That's Rubio doing his Trump impression.
Be a good job. Acting librarian Mario Diaz-Balart. Do you want it? But all kidding aside, the
problem is not that Kamala's campaign was too short; it's that it was too long. That when people actually listened to what she had to say, her polling went down and down and down. I think
that is
if we
true.
had a 150-day campaign, we probably would have had 3 additional Republican senators, and Donald Trump would have won by an even bigger landslide. Because the more people know about Kamala Harris, the more they realize there's no substance there. I mean, agree or disagree with Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, they actually had substance. They could actually articulate a viewpoint. I listened to Kamala Harris for 90 seconds, and I actually feel like I've gotten dumber in the process, and I have no idea what she actually believes. That's the problem with Kamala Harris, and it's
Brain
going to continue to
hurty.
be her problem unless she actually learns how to develop a viewpoint, articulate it for the American people. Just say what you actually believe. Don't do this word salad, talking around in circles. It doesn't work, and it's why she didn't win.
Yeah, man.
I didn't mean to click on that. I would have loved to have seen, and that's one of the biggest disappointments about Biden backing out. I would have loved to have seen J.D. Vance absolutely demolish Kamala Harris in a debate. It would have been amazing. But okay, well, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm gonna cut this off just a little bit early. I got some stuff I got to get to work a little early for, but please make sure you follow me over on Rumble so I can start over there. We still aren't quite there yet. That's my alarm, but I appreciate everyone who's come in here. We've had a few people pop in and out, but all in all, about average for the morning show here. There might be a few changes, at least for a little bit coming up. I might start doing an evening show instead. It just depends if a couple things change within the next couple of weeks, but we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, guys, I just want to thank you all very much for stopping by here. It's been an interesting time. I can't wait to see what else happens with Twitch, and hopefully, what's his name gets canned along with a lot of the people who he's let go recently. But y'all have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.